Controversial takes, developer edition. Number one, work smarter, not harder is BS. And what I mean by this is that obviously everyone's heard this, work smarter, not harder. So basically, I heard this take a while ago. Someone said work smarter, not harder doesn't make sense. Now I think, okay, he explained it. Okay, that makes sense. I will basically regurgitate what he said, and it kind of influences why I think this hot take. People are like, it's one of the things that you're growing up told, no matter what field you're in, right? Plumbing, everything, work smarter, not harder. But essentially, what he said was, you don't know what smarter is until you work hard. So to know how to work smarter on coding, you need to do the hard things first. You need to create your own projects and do it the conventional way. It depends on your path, right? Let's say like I don't want to get into coding, but I want to make a website. Obviously, like all these coding agents coming out, like Lovable and the classics V0 and all that, right? Even at ChatGPT, you can ask a question, and like the ones made specifically for making websites, right? Or even something like Shopify. Those things exist if you don't want to be a developer. But if you want to be a developer, right? So most people watching this video are developers or interested in being developers. You typically want to go down the coding route, starting from scratch or starting from a framework, and then it leads you to a project or leads to a finished product. You like that satisfaction of doing that. You like the steps. You don't want you know the options there for you to go on something like Lovable or Bolt and type in a prompt to have a website done in 10 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour. But that's not satisfying for you. If you want to do a personal project, you actually learn these new skills, how to set up a database and all that, right? But the point is, you're not going to know how to find these shortcuts or these productivity hacks that allow you to take what you have and get it done in a quicker amount of time. That's what productivity is. Getting the desired task done in the hour and the time that you give it, right? Because you say if someone takes 6 hours to get the task done and someone takes 3 hours to get that same task done, the guy that took 3 hours is more productive than the 6 hour guy, right? Same thing with, it's not necessarily directly related to this, but it all come back around. The guy that works 18 hours every day is nowhere near as productive as the guy that works 8 hours per day. Because there's no way you can be fully focused on something for 18 hours straight unless it doesn't require much mental work. But something like coding, there's no way you're telling me you worked on a project for 18 hours straight. The only breaks you took were to eat and go to the bathroom. Because that's just too much for your brain to handle. At a certain point, you probably went on YouTube or checked your phone, went on TikTok, and that messes up your productivity. Because now it's like, okay, now it takes you a minute to get back focused again. All goes to say, work smarter, not harder isn't a thing until you work harder. You have to try out all these different avenues of things, and then you can go in. What I'm trying to think of, then you can go and be more productive, aka work smarter. After you tried a bunch of things, then you can go back and tweak things and make it better. Number two, D.R.Y is counterproductive to productivity. Now, what is D.R.Y? D.R.I stands for don't repeat yourself. Right, if you've been coding for a bit and you have someone look at your code, You've probably heard of this. If not, I'm going to introduce it to you. So essentially, like the name says, don't repeat yourself. People advise you not to repeat the same code over and over and over, which is why there's things like functions, which allow you to enter in something and have it be repeated, right? Versus having that same chunk of code repeated in your code multiple times. You can just call it by typing a name normally and then a parentheses after. And the computer recognizes, okay, this is a function. Each time it's called, it goes into the code block and it does the actions, ends the loop, then it does the thing, right? So it's very consistent. Basically, the whole point of it is less lines of code, and like I said, it's not repeated entire time. It's better to have that function, which is normally like a word, or might have like it might be like a word, or it might have it's just a function name. I was trying to think of something else, but it's just a function name, right? You just call the function, right? The other thing is it doesn't have to be just specific functions, but that's like the most used case is functions, right? And the reason I say this is counterproductive, right, is because you can spend so much time trying to make sure things are repeated or aren't repeated, and that can actually make you less productive. Because obviously you can have like in a style sheet, you can have you might accidentally put the same thing twice. But it's like, let's say your style sheet has 100 lines of code. If you have the same thing twice, you don't realize it, and then one thing at the top, other things like at the bottom, it's like you shouldn't, every time you code, you shouldn't look in there and try and optimize every little thing. I think it is okay to do it once you're done with the project. Like as you're coding the project and typing everything out, I think you should kind of just leave things how they are. If something's working and then you're doing a lot of code in one session, I think it's okay not to right then and there try and optimize everything and spend 30 minutes, an hour, however long, right, to fix it. Next one, fix it, right? I think you're better off just doing what you're doing, and at the end, that's when you do your refactoring and all of that. Third and final one. I think this is a hot topic. This, I'm not sure if this is very controversial as much now, but still. AI will replace programmers. Oh wait, hold up. AI will not. Okay, I forgot it was opposite. It's my takes, not the. Okay, yeah, AI will not replace programmers. The reason I say this is because I've been doing a lot of testing things with AI, every different type of application. Think about Canva, Photoshop, obviously the classics like Cursor, Visual Studio Code. I've been trying all of these things, and anytime, that's the most recent case I've been using it for, or I tried to, and like this isn't really as good as I thought it would be. Using it for creating websites with no code. Like I was saying earlier, like lovable bolts, right? Even like everything has it nowadays. So like there's no Shopify, WordPress. I've been using WordPress a lot, like getting into it, trying to make a website. But like I tried using, like I'm scared to even use the AI feature on WordPress. I've used it for like creating a logo and stuff like that. Like super nice for that, right? You just give an idea and you can just keep refreshing it over and over until you get what you want. But we're talking about programmers here, right? So I don't think it will replace for programmers because there has been so many times where I've typed in something on Lovable, which is a front end coding agent, does front end, it does back end as well, but it's very good at front end. Let's just say it does full stack, right? I try and tell my full stack or my front end, and it just keep error after error after error. It looks really good, right? And then it's like there's just so many room for misinterpretation, right? Actually, I would say I got more problems with the back end, like setting things up. And it was like it would do certain things. I would get info. It would the info would be right, but the actual functionality wouldn't work. And it's just like it's such a headache to make something and then go back and fix it, and it's giving you code that's kind of hard to understand because it's like sometimes it might give you 500 lines of code, and now you got to tell us to break the code down, and then you got to do all of these things. I say all this to say that AI still has a very long way to go. Like we're still in the very early stages of AI ever even coming close to replacing programs. The only thing AI will do is things that it's good at right now, which is automating things. That's probably about it. Automating, generating ideas, right? Like AI right now should be seen more as an assisting tool. It shouldn't be seen as a extra developer. And it can be extra developer, but it shouldn't be seen as a developer. Like no one will have a team full of AI, right? When you even think about it, that, sounds crazy, right? Because it's like you would have either one person controlling this, making things with AI, and having no feedback from actual people, and just having talking to the AI and having a conversation back and forth, or you gotta have actual robots, right? But even then, like we still aren't at the point where we trust robots enough to run a business. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. If you have any opinions on this. And yeah, I'm just trying out a new series. I like doing stuff like this. Like I enjoy talking. I know a lot of my content is just me and the camera. Like I'm not the main focus. It's kind of just like the code or the program or whatever I'm making. But I genuinely enjoy this. Like I could talk on forever. But yeah, if you made it this far, thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and thank you.